and you say, Alexa, play today's top hits, she plays a list that is titled most played songs on Amazon, and all those songs are on there. I listened to it today while I was cooking dinner. All right, I am super excited for tonight's call because one of the things that I really want to do over the course of the summer is I want to make sure that I am answering your questions. And so I actually got quite a few questions, and I'm not going to be able to answer all of them tonight right now, but that's okay. That means that now we have ideas for future calls. Now, don't be surprised if I reach out to one or two of you and say, hey, this was one of the questions that was brought to my attention when I asked for feedback, and I know this is something you're really good at. Would you mind signing up to host a call? Next week, Christy is signed up to host a call, and then I know 1 week in July, Carissa is signed up to host again as well. So I am very thankful that they are willing to do that, but also extremely proud that they're stepping up, because that's leadership. And that actually brings me to one of the first questions that was put onto the team page. It came from Christy, and it says, how to get unstuck not that one. I'm sorry. How to post and invite more to the business when you don't feel like a good mentor. And to me, there's two problems here, two parts to this question. The first part is, how do I stay consistent with posting and inviting? The second part is, why don't you feel like a good mentor? Or how do I feel like a good mentor? Because here's the thing, guys. Almost all of you are mentoring someone. You might not realize it, but when you text your friend in the morning saying, hey, I'm up, I'm going to push play, you're mentoring them. When you check in with someone and say, I just finished my water for the day, how are you doing? You're mentoring them. When you invite your spouse or your friend or your mom to work out with you, you're mentoring them. So to say you don't feel like a mentor, that is you. That's in your head. Sometimes we put things in our head that aren't really true. They feel true to us because we're comparing ourselves to somebody else, or we're feeling like maybe we're slacking in a certain area. But in reality, there's people looking at you every single day thinking, man, I wish I could be more like that girl. I wish I could be more like her. I wish I could, push play even when I don't want to, or turn down the birthday cupcake even when I really want one, or stop eating pizza every day for lunch or whatever. You're mentoring people whether you realize it or not. So if you don't feel like a mentor, you need to work on this. So my suggestion would be, figure out why you feel that way and find some personal development to fix it. It is really, really important that your mindset is your strongest muscle. If you can push play and you can lift the weights and you can do push-ups and you can do all the things, you can go run 10 miles in, I don't know, 60 minutes or whatever it is you crazy people do that run super fast, then that's great. But if you're not strong right here, all that other stuff doesn't mean a whole lot. So you have to believe in yourself. And I know I always used to say, like, fake it till you make it. Don't fake it till you make it. Figure out what you need and then give it to yourself. I told you in our last call that I hosted, I ended up paying somebody to be my business coach. I'm not spending a lot of money. It's been a great investment. But just this morning, I started my day with them, and I had talked to one of them Friday morning and asked some questions and got some feedback. This morning, they asked how I was feeling, what my win was for the week, and then what my focus was going to be for the coming week. And I told them, and they were like, holy mind shift, Batman. Like, that, it was total night and day from what I was worried about on Friday to what I decided my focus would be for this week. And I've already started putting that focus into motion. I sent a couple texts out to people already today. So, if you are feeling like you're not comfortable posting, I totally get it, because sometimes I have this tendency, especially like right now, because I've gained a little bit of weight and I'm struggling with trying to figure out why it's happening, like what I need to do. I can feel a little bit like a fraud. Like, here I am, I'm supposed to be this health and fitness coach, I'm supposed to be helping other people on their journey, and yet my journey is looking like a valley right now, like, and not really in a good place right now. But it doesn't make me a fraud. It makes me a human. So I've got to get that thought out of my head, because all these other people are looking at me and they're not thinking that about me. And if they are, it's not my business anyway. But if, like, nobody's really looking at Lindsay and being like, look at her, she's so fake, she's out there, pretending to be a health and fitness coach, and she's not even in shape, or whatever they could say. People aren't really doing that, and the ones that are, screw them anyway. But we need to remember that just because we're human and we have our flaws or our moments of weakness, or we have our valleys in our business and in our personal life and in our personal health and fitness journey, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be posting and inviting. Jackie's been really authentic and transparent about her struggle lately with being home with the boys. She's done a good job sharing that and letting other moms know that if they're feeling that way, it's okay. Like, they're not alone. And I reached out to her the other day and I twisted it a little bit on her. I don't even know if she realized I was doing it. I said to her, how is Beachbody and Grit and Grace helping you to get through this tough parenting moment? And she was able to tell me a couple things that our team and our business has been doing, or at least has taught her, like, about her self-care and all that, to help her get through this. So instead of just saying, I feel like I'm not a good mentor because I'm struggling right now, figure out how you can take that struggle, take that mess, and turn it into a message that will add value to people's lives. So if you're struggling with something in particular, like maybe you really don't feel qualified to mentor new coaches or to mentor new clients, figure out a way to twist that and shift it and turn it into a post where people are like, oh, you know what? If she's struggling, but she's still showing up, something's working here. Because when I struggle, I sit my butt on the couch and get out the Ben and Jerry's. When she struggles, she gets up and pushes play. The other night, I was having a really rough night, and old Lindsay would have opened up a bottle of wine, would have sat down on the couch with my chips and dip. You know how I love my chips and dip. And I would have put on, like, The Notebook, and I would have just allowed myself to cry and drink my wine and eat my chips and dip. New Lindsay went upstairs, pushed play on a second workout that day at 8:30 at night. There's the difference. There's a message there. I mean, yeah, I still had a struggle. I still had a rough day or a rough night, whatever. But instead of falling back on the bad habits, I practiced a new good habit. Maybe I don't feel like a good mentor because I'm struggling, but that right there is mentoring someone. Oh, you're struggling? Get some endorphins going, girlfriend. Get a sweat on. Instead of sitting there and eating Ben and Jerry's and feeling worse when you finally peel your butt off the couch, do this instead. This is what I did, and I felt better after. Use that message. I'm going to also address the bod group thing. Guys, I'm going to be completely honest. I feel the pain. I do. However, I'm going to pressure you to really think about all the things that are good in our life. How many of the good things in your life, in your relationships, in your business, in your career, How many of those good things did you get without a little bit of growing pain? How many of those things did you accomplish or did you complete or achieve without a little bit of discomfort or like stepping outside the comfort zone? Because I really truly believe that's where we are right now with bod groups. I get it. Our engagement, myself, in the beginning, I was an idiot. And I understood it to be that as soon as I did my workout, it just automatically showed that I did my workout and I didn't even have to like check it in, which was wrong. You have to check it in. And then now sometimes I forget. I've been doing 2 workouts a day because I'm doing 75 hard with Jen and Carissa and Andrea. And I've been doing 2 45-minute workouts a day and for the last 7 days. I don't know how many of them I've actually checked in, even though I'm doing them, because I forget. So it's something that I need to learn. I'm actually going to set a little alarm on my phone for every day at 9 a.m. because at least one of my workouts is done by 9 a.m. every single day. So I'm going to set a little alarm to remind myself to go ahead and do that. Now, I think one of the big things that is so frustrating with bod groups right now is the engagement. Is that kind of give me some feedback, like a thumbs up, thumbs down? Like, is that the biggest struggle most of you are experiencing with bod groups right now? Okay. That's what it seems to be with the feedback I'm getting. I really think it's a matter of us training our clients that this is a new, what's the word I want to use? It's a new tool. And instead of them being able to just do it on Facebook, we need to train them to do it there. Maybe try to set up some type of reward, like the person who checks in 3 times this week gets their name put in for a drawing. Maybe start shouting people out in the group or on your social media, giving them a public, shout out for checking in and doing everything they need to be doing inside bod groups. I think just letting them know, like, hey, I see you. I know you're working out because I see you in your Instagram stories, or I see you on the Zoom call, the virtual gym, but I'm not seeing you check in the group. Just do that. And don't be afraid to tag them in your group and like kind of call them out. I do that in our team page all the time. I know some of you are doing your power hour every day, but you're not checking it in. So I try to tag your name under there and say, hey, you and I did a power hour together today. Don't forget to log it, kind of thing. Because we do. We're a busy people. We really are. And we're making the time to do the workout. We just need to make the time to like let everybody know we're doing it. Who's still using them and how are they working? So this is what I would say. Okay, I'm looking at your question here too, Blair, so I can add on to that. This is what I would say. Bod groups has only been in existence for 5 or 6 weeks now. So I would give it a minimum of 3 months before you decide to go back to something different. The reason why I say that is because in the first 3 weeks, there were so many kinks that were still being worked out that we really didn't have a good feel for what bod groups was yet. Thank God, finally, our scheduled posts are actually posting, because for our first month, Christy would be like, did somebody post today? Or I'd be like, oh my gosh, I just realized my post never actually posted. And like we were having to constantly communicate because it just wasn't working the way we were, trying to make it work. And yeah, Beachbody is notorious. This is good and bad, but they're notorious for having a lot of things happening at the same time. And like Christy just said, the France launch happened at 2 weeks after bod groups launched. We've got the Caramel Shakeology launching, and then we've got MBF launching, and then and we had Barry Energize launch during that time too. Sometimes we just do too much at once, and so there were unfortunately some things that needed to get worked out because the technical issues were still there. I truly believe this month is going to be different with that. we're 2 weeks into the month. I hope everyone is seeing a little bit difference. Blair said there's getting it to work always. Yeah, there's been a lot of technical difficulties, unfortunately. I think just things they didn't see coming. I would just not give up on it yet. It has been frustrating, but I remember when Share-a-Cart was really frustrating, and now we can't remember life before Share-a-Cart. I remember when we were all really frustrated that we weren't going to have DVDs anymore, and now it's like Beachbody On Demand is like a godsend, right? So we just need to remember that there's always going to be some kinks to work out, but I would say in the next 2 months, they should mostly be worked out, and it will probably get much, much better. Some of the other questions I'm going to buy the package for the sneak peek. What does that one mean, Christy? You mean for MBF? Muscle burns fat?
No, it was more just directed towards you.
Okay. The one from Mompreneur?
Yeah, because we haven't had a sneak peek into coaching in a while, and you and I had talked a little bit about purchasing that product, and so it was kind of like I just asked the question, so I was like, oh, let me ask this one more while it's on my brain.
Yes, I actually did plan to purchase that for our sneak peek this month.
Okay. If you need help paying for it or doing any of the videos, because we have to make 4.
Okay.
Let me know.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
One other question that I wanted to address on this call, because it's something that I've specifically been working with my business coaches. So I'm in this business coaching program or mentorship with other women, and there's 2 women that are both business and life coaches that run it together. So I kind of, for the price of 1, get 2, and I've been able to have one-on-one calls with both of them, which has been wonderful. And then we have, like, what we did this morning was called a coffee chat, and it's the second Sunday of every month, and all the women are invited that are in the group, and we all kind of just, you surround yourself by the people that you want to level up and become. You surround yourself with people that make you better and stronger. And that's what we did. This morning, we were all able to talk about wins and struggles and give advice and feedback. And one of the things that has come up lately and is kind of my focus for the next week is figuring out what people have the caliber to run with this and to do what they need to do in order to achieve what they want to achieve, and then run with them. Instead of, like, I think we all have experienced clients and coaches that we love and we see the potential in them, and we know what this company has done for our health and fitness. We know what this company has done for our financial wealth or health. We see all the potential, and we see that other people have the same potential, but if they don't see it in themselves and they don't show up and do the work, then there's no way it's ever going to happen for them. No, I can't want it more than you do for yourself. And that is really hard for me as an Enneagram 2, because I really want you to be successful. I want to help you in any way I can. However, helping is not doing for you. And spending all my time, and I'm not just saying me, I'm saying this like for you too, spending all your time trying to help someone who maybe really isn't ready to be helped or doesn't want to be helped right now, no matter what they say. Because it's not about what you say or dream or wish for. It's about what you're willing to do. Okay. If you're spending a lot of your time, your work time, trying to help those people that aren't willing to do what they need to do, then you're wasting a lot of your work time. And then that is going to impact your mindset about being a mentor. And then that is going to impact your personal business, because when you're not feeling good up here, it is hard to go through the motions of the business. It really is. So I wanted to give a couple tips and these are coming from Julie. These are not my tips, but I took them from some of our conversations we've had, and I'm sharing them with you because the question that I am getting from so many people right now is, it's been a long time since I really sat down and worked the business. It's been a long time since I even posted on social media. Where do I start if I want to start back again? And so this is what I feel you should be doing, because I'm sure it feels overwhelming if it's been a while. Sometimes it feels overwhelming when it's not been a while. Your first thing you need to do is make a to-do list. And I'm going to pull a little Rachel Hollis on you. Make your to-do list, list all the things that need to happen today, and then try to narrow it down to 3. Cross out the things that maybe don't have to happen, but would be great if it did happen. Cross out the things that, or maybe just put a star next to 3 of them, and those are the things that are non-negotiables. They have to happen today. But like for me, for example, I really wanted to clean the kids' bathroom. Now that wasn't like number 1, 2, or 3 on the list of things to do. It was like number 4 or 5. There were other things that had to happen, like meal prep had to happen. I had to go to the grocery store. For me, it's a non-negotiable to send out my invites every day. So those things had to happen before the kids' bathroom got cleaned. Kids' bathroom still got cleaned the other day, but it wasn't the first thing I did because it wasn't most important. I think sometimes we have so many things on our list and we feel like we have so many things we're supposed to be doing that when we've taken a break or we've taken a step back, looking at that list makes us just want to scrap it and be like, screw it, I'm not doing anything because this is too much. So it's really important to look at your list of things to do, add anything else that needs to get done, but go with 3. If you finish 3 things by the end of the day, every single day, then you've done good. I guarantee you, some of you might be thinking right now, but there's like 10 things that are on my list that have to happen this week. That's great. But today, only 3 of them have to happen. I guarantee you, if you start narrowing it down and doing 3 a day, you're going to end up being more productive by the end of the week than you were before. Because when you've got too much on your plate, you've got too much on your plate. When you can focus on 3 things, you may end up having time to get something else done. Now, the second thing I want to share, and you may want to write this down, this is the alphabet soup system to figuring out your day. So it's called A, B, C, D, E. Okay. So your capital A is today's number 1 priority. This absolutely has to happen today. For example, yesterday, my capital A was scheduling all my posts in my challenge group because my posts are I'm responsible for the posts that start tomorrow. So that had to happen yesterday. Number 1 priority could not be pushed back. My lowercase a is the second priority of the day. So for me, this was yesterday or the day before, I can't remember, but my capital A was scheduling my challenge group posts. My lowercase a was setting up our MBF group on Facebook. So I got that set up, and then of course I don't have access to all the graphics, so I don't have graphics in there yet, and I haven't been able to do much beyond that. But those 2 things were number 1 and number 2 on my list that day. My capital letter B is something that needs to happen within the week. So if you're following the alphabet soup system, A is today's top priority, number 1. Lowercase a, today's number 2 priority. B is it has to be finished within the week. C is it has to be done within the month. So for me this week, one of my B is setting up our 3-day refresh group, because that kicks off on Monday, not tomorrow, next Monday. My complete within the month is setting up our MBF launch group because I want that rolling ASAP. My D is anything I can delegate. So what things need to happen for our team that I can delegate to someone else? One of those things is the team call next week. I've delegated it to Christy. Christy stepped up and offered to help. Something else that can be delegated, Maybe tomorrow night I order dinner instead of cooking dinner because tomorrow's busy. So I'm going to make sure that I take the time I need to take for my business. And instead of spending a lot of time cooking a meal, I'll order a rotisserie chicken and 2 sides from Cafe Vesuvio. And then E is something you can eliminate. I mean, if you think of all the things that you do every single day, this is actually something I think is a really good practice, is to take 2 minutes to write down all the things you did today and then go through and cross out all the things that really didn't need to happen, all the things that you wasted time doing. Because we have this tendency of saying, well, I just didn't get to it because I was so busy. But you know what I did today? I watched 3 episodes of Shameless on Netflix. That didn't need to happen. That could have been eliminated. I went into Food Lion looking for ice cream for my kids. They're not even here right now, so I didn't have to do that. That could have been eliminated. That was time wasted. I went to 2 different stores trying to find a new dog bed for my dogs because football has chewed his up. I could have just hopped on Amazon and spent 5 minutes buying them 2 new dog beds instead. That could have been eliminated. Like, there's a lot of things that we do every single day that are a waste of our time, that don't have to happen. And when you start to acknowledge that, you realize how much time you actually have freed up. I actually saw there was this girl on TikTok had posted something. Some Karen had left a really nasty message or comment on one of her videos about, like, you should stop making videos and start taking care of your family. And she was like, so she like, there's this way on TikTok to show the comment. And so she and her husband are sitting there and she's like, hey babe, how many hours a day do I go to work? And he was like, you go to work from like 8 to 4, so 8 hours, whatever. And she's like, okay. How many hours a day do I go to the gym? And he was like, maybe an hour, after work before you come home. Okay. How long does it take me to cook dinner? And he was like, I don't know, 30 minutes. She's like, okay, so then how long do we sit down as a family to eat dinner? And he was like, I don't know, 45 minutes, an hour, whatever. And she goes, oh, and how long does it take us to make this TikTok video? And he was like, 2.5 minutes. She was like, okay, so that leaves me with like 14 other hours in my day. I guess that's when I can be a parent. Like, it was really funny. But you think of all the things that we think we're wasting time on, or that we think we're doing that are really productive. And some of them, if we just eliminated them, we would have a lot more time on our hands. Like, we have this tendency to think that we don't have that much time not to be working and not to be like doing our workout, going to work, coming home, cooking dinner, all this stuff. There's a lot of time left in the day. How you prioritize that time is what decides what gets done. Like, if you still have 14 hours and you're probably only sleeping for 7 to 8 of those 14 hours, then what are you doing with the other 8 or 9 that are still there? Think about that. The last step that I wanted to give you, if you're struggling with where to like start back, by the way, if you're struggling with where to start and you have not watched last week's call with Carissa on reigniting your spark, you have got to stop trying to figure it out on your own and go listen to that and take notes. And my suggestion is to choose 3 of the tips she gave. She gave 7 tips. Choose 3 of them to start putting into practice right now. But every single day, you need to repeat this process of writing your to-do list. Or maybe you just have a list and you're crossing things out as you go, and you need to star the 3 things that have to happen that day. That's totally fine. Like, maybe you have a list of everything that needs to happen this week. Star the 3 that have to happen Monday. Cross them out when you finish on Monday. Tuesday, look back at the list, star the 3 that are happening on Tuesday. You have to reprioritize every single day. You have to start each morning, start your day figuring out what's going to be my A. What's going to be number 1? What's going to be my little A? What's going to be number 2? What's going to be my B? What has to happen this week? What's going to be my C and has to happen this month? What's going to be my D, and how am I going to delegate that? Who do I need to contact right now? Because guys, it takes like 2 seconds to say to somebody, hey, would you be able to do this for me today? And then E, what can be eliminated? What's on my list that doesn't really need to happen? For example, sometimes we feel obligated to do things like, I don't know, one of the things that I've recently been thrown into on Facebook, which is so awesome. I love it. I'm not complaining. Please don't think I am. But one of the things that I've been thrown into is these groups that are called like Amazon Fun, or Girls Just Want to Amazon and stuff like that. And it's cool. You make a wish list and then you just like randomly select someone, you go into their wish list and you send them a gift off their wish list. Really cool, right? But that could easily be something that I eliminate from my list of things to do. That's not something that has to happen. It makes me feel good, but if it doesn't happen, it's not going to ruin my day or ruin my business or anything like that. I'm not going to feel like I didn't accomplish something and I wasn't productive if that doesn't happen today. It's really important that you understand what has to happen in your daily life in order for you to be productive. And I can sit here and tell you that you need to do your business activity tracker, but if that's not a priority to you, if your business is not the thing that makes you feel productive, then that's not something you need to focus on. It really is about you. For me right now, my workouts are number 1. They're my capital A every day because they've been a struggle for me. So I've had to make them priority number 1 for me. Then my lowercase a can be something business related. My B can be something business related. But I have to put myself first right now because I had gotten out of that habit and I need to reestablish the habit. I'm looking at the chat real quick. Yeah. One of the girls actually, so we had met last Friday, I think it was, or Saturday. And one of the girls started doing the top 3 thing just in this past week. And she said she's accomplished so much more this week than she has in the last month or 2 because she was so overwhelmed every time she looked at her list. And now she just has those 3 things. One last thing I'll say before I end our call, because I know I'm going over. Something else they did is some of them felt like their spouse or their children were interrupting them so many times during the day that they were not able to be productive because they were constantly getting interrupted. And it was always like, look, I told you this is important to me. You have to leave me alone so I can get it done. Or like, I don't know what's for dinner tonight. I need to get my work done right now. Don't come ask me what's for dinner. So this one of the girls in the group suggested something that works in her house. She lives with her 2 older children. They're teenagers. She's single. She doesn't have a spouse at the house, but she said that they would constantly come in and interrupt and be like, Mom, we need more coffee creamer. I just used the last of it. Okay, you didn't have to interrupt me to say that. Instead, let's make a space on our whiteboard on the fridge. And when you realize you've used the last of something or something's all gone, you just get the marker and write it down. And when I do grocery shopping, it gets added to the cart. Or they would come in and say, Mom, what's for dinner tonight? And she'd be like, I don't know yet. I've got to get this done first. So instead, what she's done is on that same whiteboard, she's written out their weekly menu. And so she said for a while, they would come in and interrupt her and say, what's for dinner? And she'd say, whiteboard, whiteboard, whiteboard. And now they don't ask because they know just to go to the whiteboard. She also gave them color-coded pens and had them write down everything they had to get done during the week. So it was never a case of like her 14-year-old coming in and being like, Mom, I need you to take me to cheerleading practice right now while she's in the middle of a conference call with somebody, because that was already on the whiteboard earlier in the week. They sat down and I think they called it Sunday church at their house, and it was their family meeting, but they called it Sunday church, and they would sit down and they would talk about what their wins are going to be for the week, or what their focus is going to be for the week, what their wins were. And then it was also an opportunity for them to share things without the potential of getting in trouble or being judged by their parents or anything. If they had a concern about a friend or a fear, or if they were struggling with something, that was an opportunity for them to have time to talk about it without any repercussion. So I thought that was really cool and something that might work. My kids are young, so I know it won't work for me, but for those of you that have older kids, or maybe your spouse is working from home at the same time as you right now, because some of us are still working virtually, then that might be a practice that you need to put into place and tweak for your family. I will address the other questions throughout the next few calls, and don't be surprised if I reach out to you and ask you to step up and post about something in the team page, go live about something in the team page, or host a team call. Also, I wanted to leave you with this. Tomorrow morning, I will be on this team call link hosting a power hour. So if anyone wants to join me at 8 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time, I will be here working. I'm only inviting the people who are going to get on and work, because that's going to be my time to work too. So, all right. Love you guys. Have a great week.